So for our next step, we're going to need bag 116, which is the back top piece. Bag 117, which is the rear adapter assembly. And we're going to need bag 118, which is the Pi assembly. We're also going to need bag 309, which is the Raspberry Pi. Bag 319, which is the top case or upper case fan. And bag 323, which is the bottom case or lower case fan. Optionally, you can use some additional TPU spacers for mounting the fans just to dampen any vibrations that might occur. You can also use any other material to do that. So I'm going to use these when we mount the fans. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move these electronics up here for right now. And first we'll get the back top piece out. So we have the back top piece here, and this is the rear section of the robot, and this is where the Pi mounts on the bottom of that section. So let's go ahead and open up bag 118, which is the Pi assembly. And bag 118 has the Pi bracket, has the Pi carrier, it has the upper or top case fan guard, and then in the small parts bag we have screws, and we have 4 printed tiny little ring parts, little standoffs that go with the Pi carrier. Let's go ahead and sort those out. Just get them poured out here. So we'll go ahead and sort these small parts out. So we've got these printed carrier parts. And then we've got 2 different sized screws here. So we've got 4 18mm screws, and then 3, or you may have 4 14mm screws for the fan. So I'll go ahead and sort these. So the fan has 4 holes, but we only use 3 of them to mount because one of them has the wiring going through it. So the first thing we're going to do is mount the top case fan. So that's part 319. And to do that, we're going to mount it with the label up, so the airflow up. So we're going to mount the fan right here, like this. And we'll put this little guard on top of it, and that's what we'll fasten our screws to. So the screws will come through the bottom and through the fan and into this top guard. And this is where I'm going to add a few little extra spacers just to prevent any potential direct vibrations on the case that might make noise that we don't want later. So you don't have to do this, but I'm going to add them into this assembly. So I'll position the fan like this. That means we'll be using these 3 holes here. Just going to go ahead and start one of these, and I'll just put this little TPU spacer around the screw that's coming through. Like that. All right. It's kind of holding it in place actually. That's nice. And then let's go ahead and do that for the other two as well. Put a screw through. Put one of these little spacers around the screw. Bring that down. Okay. And then let's get the third one, which will be right here in this position. I'll put the little ring on it. Okay. Now I will slide my fan over these 3 screws. Like that. And I will bring fan guard in. Just set it there. I'm just holding it with my hand. I'll get my screwdriver and start to fasten these into place. I want to pull them in pretty good, pretty firmly, so that it really clamps down on those spacers. Okay, so that's in place now. Next, we're going to go ahead and prepare to mount the pie back here. So I've got those screwed in fully. So we'll take the pie carrier and these 4 little standoffs, little spacers, and take it and flip it over to the flat side, and we're going to push these into it this direction so that they're just little bumps on the bottom. And they should fit in there pretty snugly. It's okay if they're loose, but you just have to make sure that they don't fall out before you attach the pie. Okay. All right, so we've got that done. We'll go ahead and get our pie, the bag 309. And we want to align it, so we'll flip this carrier over. And you can see one side has this cutout, and that aligns with this SD card slot. So we'll set it in the carrier like this. And we need to make sure that our little spacers are still in place. And so then we'll take this whole assembly and we're just going to set it into this cutout area. And it should sit so that the pie is pretty even, or just a little bit below the surface here. So I'm going to leave that sitting just like that for right now. Now I'm going to take my pie bracket piece, and I'm going to open up bag 117. Which is the rear adapter assembly. I'm going to put fan 323 away. We don't need it right now. We'll need it later. So I'll take the rear adapter assembly, and it's got connectors on both sides here, and it's got 1 screw. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up this casing. I'll take out the screw, and that will let me just pull this top casing off, and inside is just a board. And what I want to do is take this pie bracket, I'm going to push it into place so that the front of the bracket goes into this slot here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the top casing, put it back on top, and kind of want this to be all the way in this corner here. So that's pretty good. And I'll take the screw and I'm going to connect it back together. Go ahead and tighten that down. So now it's connected like this. And now I'm going to take this, position it like this on top of the pie, aligned with the holes. I'm going to flip that over. I'll check my alignment. And now I'm going to take my longer screws and anchor in the 4 corners. So I'll start here. Just make sure I get that through. And I'm not going to tighten it all the way at first. Just screw it down a little bit. And I'll come over here to the other side. Make sure that gets through. Yep. Okay. Good alignment. It'll slide right down. We'll fasten it, not all the way, but most of the way. Okay. And go over to this corner. Same thing. And then this corner. And now we'll go around and tighten these all up fully. And then just kind of check to make sure that it's not, one side's not higher than the other or anything. This looks pretty good. All right. So now we've got our pie mounted in place.